Alright, Michael Maxwell here again. Maxwell Industries, of course. So, got this here rally for free. Haven't touched it. Guy said it ran last year. Well, we're going to look into this and find out. Alright, so in a minute here, I'm going to put you on this here tripod. I'm going to buy an actual tripod one day. But, hey, retard, put it on the stand. Let me take y'all real quick and we're going to start digging into this, okay? I know you want to see it. There we go. You're on your mount there. Alrighty. So, first thing is, we're going to try to use as very limited tools as possible. Alright? I have lots of tools. I don't have as many tools as most adults, but I will have to say this. I know how to get by. You still see me in frame? Okay, yep, you can still see my hand in frame. So, for example, my knife. Alright? Let's see how bad this carburetor is. Oh, throttle seized up a little bit. Is it moving? Where's the throttle go? Ah, well, okay. So this is the manual throttle lever, which is working now. Alrighty, so what about choke cable? The spring looks a bit worn out on the doohickey. So, if that is the case and the spring is worn out, I will show you how to fix it. So I already see one problem. The hose going for the overflow oil thing. I'm going to do dummy terms for you. The seams do not, or seems to be dry wrapped, so I know this thing's been sitting outside. Gas smells like, you ever smell old boat gas? That's exactly what it is. That's because the ethanol went away in it. So first, I'm actually going to put this cover back on, and I'm going to go grab my, I'm going to blow off the lawnmower. Give me a second. Let me grab my hose. And my buddy Lane's here, but he'll show his face in a minute. Now, blow off the lawnmower for you guys. Noise alert. Hold on. Well, let the air compressor catch on. Alright, the air compressor catched up now. Now, I'm going to show you guys, this primer bulb's really stiff. I'll show you guys in the next video how to unstick a primer bulb. Alright. So, we're going to start getting to the tear down of the carburetor. How are we going to do that, Michael? Well, I'm going to show you. First, you need to undo the screws. I'm going to get a screwdriver for this because I need it to be a little bit longer. So, I'm going to show y'all how to do this real quick. First thing you need to do, this carburetor has 5 screws. mounted to the gas tank. This is most lawnmowers. They're mounted to the gas tank, or sometimes the newer lawnmowers. But most of the time today, they have a hose from a separate gas tank. I heard a duck fly by. Excuse my French. Or German, I should say. And isn't this just fun? Well, it looks here as I cannot get to that. Now, I'm going to get out the rich set.
What's this? Oh, that's up front.
Now, oh, I'll scoot y'all back a little bit so you can see just what I'm doing here. There you go. About where I'd want you. So, set up my tools here. And yes, don't tell me, I know there's a lot of tools missing from this. You don't have to tell me twice. But I'm going to replace them all. So we're going to take off this little plate here. We're going to take all the bolts off. Some of them are head bolts.
From the house phone.
And I'm going to show you here. You take off this little plate and be able to access the carpet trailer. Apparently I can't get my insulator off. You never want to get these out of order if this is a head bolt. Which, no, I believe yes, it is a head bolt. So I'm going to show you. I'm not going to torque these head bolts down. Wait, no. Go in the room, go in the house and do that. Sorry, buddy's not used to doing YouTube with me. Since these are, I didn't have to torque down on them too much, I'm going to have to put some high heat thread locker in them. Always keep your head bolts in order when you're taking them out. Because sometimes these lawnmowers, some will be longer than the others for a reason. And let me know if the video quality seems to be better than what it was before. Alright. We got that far. Let's take off the spark plug. And we're just going to undo this wire here. Move this forward a little bit. Pull that just a tidbit. And it's supposed to come off if you use it. So, you guys give me the, leave a like, I might get it off. There we go. One of y'all must have left the like or something. So now that we got that moved out of the way, now we can get to the rest of the carburetor bolts. So, back with the felt screwdriver. And these, you don't have to torque them down too much because it's just only going to aluminum. You do not want to strip that or you will not have a proper seal because these gaps, how these work, they rely off of a vacuum in the fuel tank. And if that vacuum is missing, guess what? You are not able to pull fuel from the tank. How the vacuum works is actually pretty simple. Alright, I got all the carburetor bolts off. Now, I'm going to get the rest of the bolts off here. So for some darn reason, they don't want to move. Yep, figured it out. See that? That's dry rot. That's not good. Now we're going to need to take the fuel tank off. But, this is pretty easy too. Besides, fuel tank, you always want to clean these out real good. Especially if it's been sitting for 10 years, because you don't want that fuel in your engine. That fuel, it corrodes. Oh, these are aluminum carburetors. This carburetor is all plastic, but still it can go inside your motor and corrode your valves, corrode your piston. And most of the time, you wouldn't want that. Now, if you see what I just did, I yanked this off pretty hard. You really don't want to do that much. And this carburetor doesn't seem to be very dirty. See that there? I'm going to show you up close here. These are plastic, completely plastic. There's a few adjustments, but most of the adjustments, they are permanent. You cannot move them. But there's a way you can drill them out, make them bigger.
Hey, did you guys see my chicken stir-fry dinner?
Alright, we're back. We had a momentary interruption. So you really need to be careful. Oops. Well, as I said that, I dumped all the screws out. You should probably take the screws out if you're going to be dumping it upside down, or at least hold it. So this little motor has something, what I like to call, or not what I like to call, but what is called a diaphragm. What that does, that's basically like its fuel pump. It's this little part right here, and it has a spring under it. And sometimes that spring will get legitimately dislocated and dislodged from where it's supposed to be, and you won't get any fuel into the motor. Sorry if it hasn't been focusing, but you can see the little spring in there. See it right there? And if that seizes up, or if that punctures through this diaphragm, no fuel. Same thing as these little pickup screens. If any of them are clogged, no fuel whatsoever. Focus, camera. There you go. But if they seize or anything, they will get clogged. Alright, back to the mower. So, this actually doesn't look all that bad. It's not too dirty. But you always want to clean these out real good. Turn my pressure down on the knob to where it says 40. Stop touching it. You close your eyes when you're doing this and try to cover the diaphragm. Ooh. You usually shouldn't put this in something like that, but I did. It's pretty clean now. Come on, focus. Alrighty. Alright, got the autofocus back on. But now, I cleaned it out just a little bit with the air gun. And I'm going to need to buy a, what do you call it? A hydrosonic cleaner. Now, this fuel is not good. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the fuel in this tank, and we're going to dump it out. First, we're going to clean out this bucket, just to show you how bad it really is. Alright, so there's a lot of rust in there. A lot of rust in there, but now we're going to pour that gas from the fuel tank in there. We're going to, some of the specs, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to use my opinion. Oh, this is not good gas. This gas is bad.
Oh, hell no.
Hey, family friendly.
Oh, crap, no.
Alright, I'll show you this fuel here. It's not good gas. See that? Most of them specs are not supposed to be in there. See the orange? Really?
Sorry.
Get out of my garage. See the orange in there? That is not good. So now we're going to blow out that fuel tank. Yeah, there is rust in there from the thing itself. But most of it is actually from this fuel tank. Now, I'm going to show you how to clean this fuel tank my way. Usually you can use vinegar or salt or something put in there. I would use my sandblaster, but I'm afraid I won't be able to get everything out. So, I'll use something I like to call. These you can buy them for $4 to $6 a gallon. This is LA's Totally Awesome. I'm not sponsored by this product, but I have a personal opinion with it, and I think it works wonders. You can use it on anything. You can clean your house with it, and it's a degreaser. It works really well with this type of stuff. So, pour a little bit in the fuel tank. Just enough to slosh it around. Okay? And slosh it around a bit. Now, we're going to take this, put the cap on. Oops. The cap doesn't want to go on. You're going to want to put the cap on it. Plug any and all holes you see. And shake it good. Now, got shaken out mostly. And we're going to dump it back out. And it's white. Remember, the stuff we put in was orange. That means it was reacting with all the rust in there. It's a good thing. Now, another thing we want to do, we're going to want to put water in this. Just to clean it out even more. So we can get all the soap out of there. Which I should have some... I should have a hose for this. But I don't. Now we're going to get the water in there. We're going to fill it up completely. So we can get everything off the sides of the tank. Okay, it's filled up completely now. Now, we're not going to try shaking it around. Well, we're going to shake it around a little bit. Alright, now we're going to try to get all the soap out of this. We're going to dump that out too. We got most of the soap out of it now. You want to make sure you get all the water out of this. We're just going to leave this sit for a little bit, okay? We're going to leave that sit in the tank so stuff can just drip out. Now we're going to get to the rest of the motor. And see about the spring here. When the spring is weak, there's something you can do to prevent the re-strengthen that string there. You take your fingers like this and push on it, make it kind of U-shaped. And then that will tension the spring just the slightest bit. It's only a slightly worn spring. But now, you see these O-rings? These O-rings are the carburetor seals. You want to clean these off pretty good as well. Now, I'm going to go clean them off camera real quick. I'll be back in a second. Alright, we're back. So, turns out my video got corrupted a little bit, but I'm back with the seals. Turns out this little white one is a spacer, but sometimes they do have two different seals on there. How good can y'all see this? Oh, I wasn't even framed, was I? But these, this is the rubber O-ring for the fuel. This is just a spacer to keep it off the motor. So, now we got that cleaned out pretty good. We are going to put this one back as far as it will go. And then we're going to put this one in the carburetor. I'll show you why we put it in the carburetor later. Alrighty. I cleaned up my carburetor the best I can, and I put new seals on it. Now, actually, now that the fuel tank's done, got that cleaned up, we're going to put it back on. Okay? So we're going to need that spacer again. Always remember the order you took stuff off in. Keep your parts handy. You don't want to go looking for something, and then you forget about what you're doing, and you're going to end up losing your whole entire job because you didn't get it done. Clamp this unit back down. Well, we should probably put the card back on first. Well, learn from my mistakes. Do not make the same mistakes I did. Some of them aren't the greatest. Are y'all still focused in on this? Just gotta make sure. No, you're not. Okay, now you're focused. how did I lose a carburetor? Alright, there it is. Try not to get any dirt in there whatsoever. And put the screen back on. The screen protects the motor. Hold on a second, people.
There's an interruption here for a minute.
Anyways, so now we're going to put in our screws. Oops, I'm getting clumsy today, people. We're going to put in our screws. You really want to make sure that seal is good. And that diaphragm is good, like I was saying in the video. Don't want to lose anything. Believe me, I've been there. I used to have a go-kart, and I was doing pretty much the exact same thing I am right now. Though one of the seals came apart, went to the gas tank. You remember the little screens I showed you? It went all over the screens, the seal did, and it clogged it. So I didn't have any trouble whatsoever. So what happened? I took it all apart, and I accidentally ripped the diaphragm. Then I bought new seals. I didn't buy a new diaphragm, but I did buy new seals. Guess what happened? It would start for a second when you have the choke on. Other than that, it would not run. That's because, oh no. Oh, never mind, that's okay. You just have to put that back on there. Do it the right way. But as I was saying, the reason why I had this O-ring put in here is because you never, I mean never, want to put this on incorrectly. If you do, you're only going to make matters worse. By worse, $1 type of bad. And what the heck did I do? I hooked it up backwards. Don't make that mistake either. I'm making lots of mistakes today. But it's a learning curve. Okay? Now, we're going to put this on correctly. Maybe. Alright, now the reason why that O-ring was in there, or why I put it on already, is when you're putting this back on, and if it's seated in some other weird position, it will not go back on correctly. And you will not have a seal. You will be letting air into the motor, extra air, on clean extra air. And what will happen, one, it'll ruin your fuel mixture. Two, it will put dirty air into your carburetor, and therefore damage your engine. Man, I know people are going to be down in the comments like, "Oh, Michael, you're gonna. It's okay. I run motors on with no air filters for years. My snowblower doesn't have an air filter." Well, yes, there's a reason why snowblowers don't have air filters. Because in the winter, all it's going to be sucking in is water. There shouldn't be any dirt in the air. See this? That's the original air filter. I know that because of the Briggs & Stratton logo. If it was not an OEM Briggs & Stratton logo, it'd be printed up here. So this is the original one from factory. Now, noise alert. Turn up the pressure all the way. Thank you, sir. Alright, now we're going to try to blow out this air filter. Noise alert, the compressor is going to come on. Now wait a minute, so y'all can hear me again. only takes about 30 seconds for my air compressor to come back. See, it's done. So I got that cleaned the best I possibly can. Which isn't the greatest, let me tell you. But this is just a hit and run experiment. So we're going to go back onto the carpet trader. So I clean out the tank. I'll show you what was in the tank in a minute. So I clean out the air filter too, the best I can. The goal is, with this type of stuff, is spend the least money as possible. But you still want to do the motor repair. You don't want to do it halfway done. And I'll tell you what, I've seen people try to halfway put together the motors and the machines. And you know what happened to their motors and machines? They ended up damaging their equipment. Now, there are lots of things you can get away with, like a carburetor. You can just spray carb cleaner down it. And people say, "Oh, you shouldn't run carb or machines on carb cleaner." Well, I don't. It's still running on fuel. Carb cleaner is flammable for a reason. And it's actually highly flammable, so it's able to work inside of your motor. Now just remember that. There is a million reasons why it is so. And for some reason, this thing's being an absolute pain. Don't know why. Never mind, figured it out. This thing is just not liking me. What the heck did I do? I done did it this time, didn't I? Now, we're going to take this, and what we're going to do, we're going to put this under here. Put that over. Put this back on the correct way. Now, what I'm trying to do, people, is trying to figure out why this motor will not line back up properly. And I think I figured it out. Just gotta be gentle with these type of machines. So, figured out my problem. Turns out, I have to position this first. And the motor is in full throttle mode, which I am demonstrating here. There's little all the alignments on these things for aligning all the parts and bits and bobs. It's always a pain. No one really remembers the way these went on. Nor will either. Show you where to hook this up. I believe this is how it went. In the factory. And it's an absolute pain to get. Once you get it in, it should work pretty good. Alright, let's line back up. Now remember your bolt pattern. If you don't get this right, you'll... Oh, I remember I was going to get the thread locker. You want high heat thread locker. And I tend to have some. You need this stuff. These are only about a couple bucks. These will save you the pain of a bolt unthreading of some sort. Now, never put too much on there. Only put a little bit. And if you do, you'll luck getting that bolt out. Even if it's medium thread locker, which is what I'm putting in here. Because that thread locker, you're gonna have a fun time getting them out. I'll just tell you, because I've seen some stupid things people done to try to lock up their bolts. And guess what happened? They ended up cracking their head because they don't know how much thread locker they need to put on. And it doesn't take very much to lock these things up because the threads are so tight on these things. And that's a good thing, obviously. Now, I'm not going to use a torque wrench. Now, here's the reason. I do have a torque wrench. But a lot of people don't have torque wrenches. I'm just going to do this so the average Joe can fix the lawnmower. Now, you should have these type of wrenches. This is a little kit. You haven't seen me grab anything else besides my knife, a Phillips screwdriver, and a little toolkit. Now you do want to get these pretty well tightened down there. There we go. So we're just about done. Now the next thing I need to do, remember I was talking about that boot was dry rotted to death? I'm going to show you how to seal that. We're going to use some high temperature gasket maker. This stuff bonds great to rubber. We're going to take this boot, we're going to put some of this stuff on our fingers. Then you're going to want to douse all them holes with some of this thread locker here. Not thread locker, I mean sealant. Gasket sealant. Don't want too much on there to make it super obvious. But got this lawnmower for free for my own personal use. Now if you're doing this for someone, I'll just buy them a new boot and charge them for it. But since this is my personal use, see? Now, got it covered in a thread locker here. Alright. Since I did that now you're going to put it back on the way it was supposed to go. It's pretty hard to do. You have to squeeze it. Now that's back on there. And y'all guys probably shouldn't wipe this off on your pants. But I do because I'm wearing work shorts. Always put your caps back on, all your types of glues and stuff. Because good luck trying to get that cap back on or back off if you do get it on. But good luck trying to do it after everything dried up. Now, we're almost done. I did forget to put in one screw though. That's okay. But do not, if you have extra screws at the end, you need to look back, look through all the holes, and make sure that whatever it is, or make sure that it actually goes to this machine. Because sometimes you'll have days, or sometimes you leave something on the bench, forgot about it. And you think it's to this machine, but it isn't.
Did you put oil in that too?
No, that was lost totally awesome. I cleaned it and water. Now this lawnmower should run immaculate, but we're not done yet. You still have to check the spark plug, which we'll do right now. So you should get yourself one of these spark plug sockets. Make sure it's the correct size. And average sizes for most spark plugs on these motors will be a 15/16. And you can get it, and it will feel like it's on there, but they have a little piece of rubber at the end of them. And what that does, that holds your spark plug like for say in a car. Oh, it's covered in oil. This is exactly what you don't want to see. It means it was running way too lean. Or just not good enough gas. I want my camera focused. There we go. It's kind of out of focus now. There we go. That ain't very good, is it? So, I'm going to put a new plug in this. Or a newer plug, because we're doing this on a budget, aren't we?
A really tight one too.
RJ19LM. It's the exact match.
Come here, it's time for your checker.
It's the exact match. RJ19LM.
This one looks a little thicker though.
They're the exact same spark plug.
So, got the exact same spark plug. It's much better condition. I wire brushed it before I put it away. This camera really does not like to focus on anything. There we go. A little bit better, a little bit charred. That's okay though. So we're going to put this one in there. No, actually we're not going to do anything yet. What we're going to do, we're going to release the brake on the lawnmower. And we're going to pull it over a little bit. Get everything on there. going to check for spark here in a minute. We're going to put this here. Lane. So what I want you to do, put this down, pull about that. When I say what? Not yet. Not way too fast. Go. Pull it again. And again. Pull it faster. One more time. Don't fucking yank it.
You just said pull it faster.
I didn't mean like that, did I? One more time. We are getting no spark. So what I'm going to do, I am going to disconnect the kill cable. That can be a culprit sometimes, not always. It's maybe the reason why this guy put this machine away and never got back to it. So, we're going to troubleshoot the motor. Quit that, sir. Alrighty, now we're gonna get the adapter for this little wrench. To get the little sockets like that. We're gonna take off the cover for the brake. There's a lot of these little screws. A lot of times they have a regular screwdriver head on them too, so you can just undo them that way. But I tend to like to do it with the sockets because you won't end up stripping out the top of the nut. And there must be two. There is two screws. A lot of times in these machines there's only one. But I know the reason why they added two. Because a lot of times that plastic thing came apart on one side all the time. It wasn't a good design in my opinion because you could put this in your truck and drop something on it, and then your lawnmower wouldn't start. But we're going to see here why it isn't starting. Apparently my screw isn't all the way out. There it is. Now, you're going to see where the kill wire is. And is it connected still? Yes it is. Now, this kill wire is very hard to see. And I'm going to need to test it too. Alright, pull that lever.
This one right here?
That's not a lever, the main lever. Alright, let go. Pull again.
That doesn't feel. It feels way too loose.
Oh no. Cable's stretched right there. Well, we came across the first problem already. So I'll pause the video and I'll tell you about it after it's on. Alright, I'm back. So I figured out the problem. It's actually a lot to do with that cable. So I'm going to pick you up and show you what happened here. So, what happened? It's this cable right here froze up right here. Bound up right there, because I'm going to guess that's how far water was able to go. And that's why it wasn't sparking. Now, you can see down there that I do get some movement out of that. Not as much as I'd like, but I'm going to try to work on that. So, put the video back on pause. right there. Man, see you in a minute. Alright, we're back again. So we have sparks now. I'm just going to spin it over really fast to get the oil out of the cylinder. Does it spit anything out of the hole?
No.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit.
Seem to have a problem.
Guess not.
I was going to show them how to fix it. Get out of it. Although the brake still doesn't work. But we're going to get there. I'm just going to put a heavier spring on that unit. But if the motor is running, it should vibrate that spring back anyways. Now, we're almost done. We can put this back on the carburetor. Alrighty. So we have spark, which is a good thing. We have spark, we should be getting fuel, and we're getting clean air. And yes, I did check. The piston is moving. I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit loud. I just pinched myself somehow. Again. Try to keep your tools organized when you're doing this, so you know where to grab. Don't do what I do, because now I don't know where my spark plug socket went. If you guys know where I put it, tell me. And that's where the problem is. You guys probably can't tell me, can you? No. Why would you? And if you do know where it is and you can't tell me, somehow, before this video got posted, do it. I have absolutely no idea where I put my spark plug socket. So I'll pause the video for a minute, and I'll come back when I find it. Okay. Turns out I was staring at it. So we're going to tighten this down. You don't want to tighten these too tight. You do want to get them snug. Because these have little washers on them that compress. That's what gives you a seal. You don't want to do it too tight because these are only an aluminum head. Now, I have no idea where any fuel is. So I'm going to come back with some fuel. We're back with gas. So, just dump it in there. Just enough for it to work. Now, before I start this lawnmower, I'm going to pick up all my tools so they don't get sucked in. Make sure the primer is actually sucking up fuel. And which it is. You hear it bubble for a little bit, then it will stop bubbling. That's exactly what you want to do. The reason that is because it's sucking the air out of the line. And when it's doing that, well, there's going to be a lot of air in the line. Okay? But anyways, all the bubbles you can hear it swishing past the little jet in there. As some bubbles rush by, makes a noise.
Oh, frick.
And when the bubbles stop, you won't hear a noise. And I do that usually until something happens. And I'm going to start this along, try to start it at a low RPM. Which you should easily do that right now because I have a lot of fuel pumping. I'm just going to pick up all my tools, move them to the next bench. You don't want to lose anything on that lawnmower and have it shot across your whole entire garage. So, I'll just see if she fires up for the first time ever. My throttle is still working, which is good. So we're going to fire up. What was that?
I have no idea. It scared the frick out of me though.
Well, I think someone put on the wrong side of the mower blade. Because what probably happened is I swallowed a piece of wood, actually. Figure that problem out pretty quick. Sorry about the noise. I should have gave you all a noise alert. I never did zoom it out either. So, I'm going to show you the result of that wood. That was just my black wood holding it up. Chopped half of it off. It was double the height. So we're going to go outside and do this. Cameraman Lane, need you. Well, I'm going to set you guys up here for a second so you can watch us throw a lawnmower. Alright. Stop fish. Follow me, Lane. Wow, can the camera see me okay? Not freak. Retard. Now, point at me and the lawnmower. Want it mostly on the lawnmower. Can you still see the lawnmower fine?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it again. We're gonna prime it again. Since this has no choke, it's the only way it will start correctly. She's almost there. She needs more fuel, I bet. Okay. This thing's cold-blooded, I bet. So, there's a problem with that. I need to pump it with a lot of fuel for it to get running. I'm not sure what's screaming, so we're going to find out.
Sounds like it's scratching something.
So I'm going to have to take a look at it and see if it's the mower blade's touching something it shouldn't be, which I bet you it is. So we're going to pause the video here. Alright, so I think I figured out the problem, but this is going to be in the part 2 of the video where we get to this because it's getting pretty late at night. Currently it is 11:25. And I believe the flywheel is not disengaging from the pull start. So we're going to get back to this later. We'll come back when we're done. Next way.